What's up, guys? Hope you are doing well. This is
An accountant.
And a Marketer, round number 2. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna try and both get in the shot here. Thank you guys for viewing. We got a lot to talk about today. So far, let's see who wins this. You got 6 on you. We got 3 on me, so you're winning already.
Oh.
People love the accounting.
They love the accountant.
So before we get into some questions, we're both going to talk a little bit about each's perspectives. Perspectives, is that the right word?
Perspective. That's fine.
Thoughts on a certain topic. So I'm going to talk about networking and how to network.
Mm-hmm.
And Yo is going to talk about
Choosing the right accounting software for your business.
So why don't you kick it off?
Well, there are several things to consider when you are choosing the right accounting software. I always say to a lot of my clients, the prospective clients that come in, when they want to begin their business, they have to make the right decisions. And there's 5 things that I always tell my prospective clients and clients to consider before changing over or implementing a new accounting software. One is the transactions. How many transactions you have going on within the accounting cycle? That's particularly the year, but looking at a month is something to really consider. Also, the size of your company. How many employees you have. Some people may have themselves up to 250 employees. And the mix of employees you may have. Some people, you may have contract workers, and others may have employees they have W-2s for. So that's other things to consider. And then you have whether or not they want to go online, have access online at any time, or they want to be just on a desktop. That's one thing to really consider. Another thing to consider is, are you going to run payroll? Are you going to accept payments? Are you going to write checks? Do you want to run it through the software itself? And that's important considerations to keep in mind. And also, it all depends on if you want to track, say for instance, your mileage. There's certain softwares that allow you to do that. So those are the things you need to consider when you are selecting a new software, or you want to change over to another software provider, or you just want to upgrade to a better software with your software provider. So those are things to consider.
And one of my favorite mile tracking apps is Mile IQ. You guys a discount 20% off for that later on if you guys keep following along. I'm going to talk about networking and ways that you can network. Unlike Yo, I am terrible at memorizing things, so I'm going to use this big bulky computer to remind myself what to do. So 6 things, a couple of 6 tips that on ways to network. If you guys have questions, please feel free to rate them in the comments. Also, give us some hearts if you love what you hear. Thank you for all of you that are out there. So how to network. So it may mean not going to a networking event. I think a lot of times people think the best place to network is by going to a networking event. Now, the networking events that I've gone to typically don't lead into a direct sale. Why? Because the people that are there are salespeople that are trying to get more cards. You can get in here, Yo, give them some commentary. The people that are trying to get some cards, not really trying to create relationships, are really just trying to work for their boss and then hound someone at a later time. So a lot of times I find that networking events do not work. And so I find myself not going to a lot of networking events because they don't work. Instead, I figure out who my target audience is, and I look through events that might be going on, or I might host my own events and invite them to come to the office so that I can get in front of them at my in the way that I want to, because it helps me become more of an authority in that space. Now, if I do go to a networking event, typically what I like to do, typically what I like to do is try and figure out who else is going to be there. Is it an event that will be good for me? Maybe not necessarily in the short term, but in the long term as well. So I try and look through go to Eventbrite or Meetup, or maybe a list of different events that are going on at your Chamber of Commerce, whatever it may be. And so you go through those lists of things and you see who's actually signed up. A lot of these things have open directories of who's signed up. So you want to say, all right, if you're looking to meet with an accountant, is there even going to be an accountant there? Is that the best way that you should network? Or should you maybe ask some of your friends, who would be the best accountant for me to get in front of? So that can also be networking as well. So you're using your already existing relationships to get you in front of the person that you want to.
That's important, to really leverage your network that you already have.
Yep, always leverage what's in your pocket. And so I call it the business card effect, where you just have relationships where you might not think that you have a lot of opportunities, but everyone has been for years developing a relationship with someone. So now you're trying to basically get referrals off of those people that you know.
Yeah.
And we got 2 more things, but remember, ask some questions here. And maybe I'll ask some questions for you, Yo. You have to get out of the office. You
Yes.
cannot expect to grow your company or grow anything if you don't get out of the office. That could also mean just if you have a digital product, or if you need to do things online, you have to be doing things. You can't expect people just to come to you just because you have a domain name or you have a website. You have to bring that traffic to you. It's the same thing with networking. You're not going to meet new people if you don't go out and get out of the office.
Got to get out.
And lastly, create a relationship with the people that you meet. Why? Because so create a relationship with them, don't sell them. Why? Because when you get that sales call, what happens?
A lot of times you want to hang up.
You just got one. You didn't even want to take
You didn't
it.
want to take it.
And so, and I think in this case, it's the same thing. You just met this person. I don't care what you're selling. I'd rather create a relationship with you. So it goes on and on and on. And then when you follow up with them, provide with them some information that you guys talked about without selling them at that immediate time.
And I think a lot of times people really need to consider that. Consider that people, when it comes to doing business, if you want to make a money with this individual, it's going to be more than just a one-time engagement.
Right.
You know, it's one-time transaction.
You gotta get on the screen, man.
And a lot of times, what it is that you really have to
2-screen effect.
you really have to just look at it as this is a person. This is an actual person, and they want to know that, number one, they can trust you.
Yeah.
Because money has a way of changing people, and a lot of people have been, screwed over, because of, this idea of money, but it's relationships, and that's what we need to focus on.
So we're looking for your guys' questions. Just simply ask them in the text field below. Give us some hearts if you need them.
Heart.
Yeah, so simple. Heart. Here, I'm gonna do it for you, Yo.
Oh,
Oops, I messed that up. Oops. We got 2-screen action.
2-screen
going
action,
on here.
yeah.
Some of you guys are watching on Zach Miller 84. Some of you guys are watching on Yahushua Y.
Yes.
So this is great. We had a question from the audience before we got started. Paul Rice. The race is right.
The rice is right.
What was your question, Paul?
What's the difference between accrual accounting and cash accounting?
Well, accrual accounting and cash accounting, number one, accrual is in terms of recognition, recognizing income. Cash, you can only recognize a transaction when you collect that money. You may have an order, but until you collect that money, you cannot recognize it. In contrast, accrual is quite different. If you have an order, you can automatically recognize that income, even though you have yet to receive those funds. So that has a way of making your income larger than what it really is. So when it comes to a tax perspective, these things have a way of making their income larger than what it actually is in terms of your income being collected, the money actually being collected, and it can actually increase your tax liability. So you have to be very careful when you're choosing these type of methods, accrual and cash method.
No, why would one do one instead of the other?
Well, you have companies that want to start out. They want to show that they are doing well, and they want to show, number one, that
What's up, Cad?
They want to show that there is that they are having traffic. They are having clients, customers come in and make orders. And these things, they want to be able to show that income. But as time goes on, when the company's really booming, they say, hey, we may want to just go back to, you may want to switch to the cash method.
So can people at any time go back and forth and switch that? Or is it like a once a year thing, you got to report to the IRS? What is that kind of?
The IRS is very, very particular about that. You can't just change it as you want to throughout the year. It's one of those things, year by year, you have to elect that. So
a new business, and my guess is that the people watching don't even know what they are.
Mm-hmm. Don't even know. Automatically, they assume that you are cash. You are cash method until you say on your tax return, look, this is a accrual method. We're using the accrual method.
So it is assumed that if you start a business or have a business and you don't know this, it is assumed that you are cash until otherwise said that you are accrual.
Correct.
A lot of people ask the question, a lot of accounting questions today. A lot of people say, what kind of company should I start? LLC, Inc., S Corp, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What's the easy answer there?
The easy answer is number one, who's starting the business? Is it just yourself? How many individuals? If it's not just you, if you have other individuals, if you have investors, and how you want these investors to have a controlling interest in that company.
Right.
So that really it's a lot of factors in that, but it depends on number one, who's starting the business, how many people starting the business, and what type of liability you want to not have.
Right.
You know, and that's really important. To decrease your liability, that's very important. So that's why a lot of people choose to incorporate either as a LLC or a C Corp or S Corp.
What do you got for me?
We got for you. Well, I think a lot of people want to know, how can I get the word out there? You know, networking, you spoke about networking, but how can you help get their word out there?
The number one way that you can tell people that you're in business, what do you think it is?
To tell them you're in business.
That's it. That's it. I don't even have to say it. You cannot assume that people know that you're in business.
Yes. So
we're sitting here, and Andrew Rios is right here, and he's sitting here going, sorry to put you under the bus, buddy, but he goes, we have one customer right now, and so I need to do those things. And so we're open for business. So if you want more people to know that you're open for business, you got to tell them. So we print out some flyers, and he's going to go door to door to the potential customers, and he's going to say, we're here to provide you this service. You can't expect that just because you spent $1 or $100,000 on a website that it's the ugliest or most beautiful thing in the world that people are going to know about it. You have to tell people that you're in business, and you can do that in a multitude of different ways. You can do it physically by getting in front of them. You can send them direct mail. Those things might cost a lot of money. You can start an email list. You can tell them by that. You can send them a bunch of emails and educational products. You can blog posts. You can do guest blog posts. There's a lot of different ways and strategies that you can get in front of people, but the underlying premise is the same. If you want people to know that you're doing something, you have to tell them. You cannot make an assumption that you're open for business. Don't expect that they know exactly what you do. You have to continue to tell them. If you're ever at the beach and you see the Geico flag flying across in the plane, you go, this is weird. I'm on vacation, but Geico is streaming this banner that says Geico. No call to action, literally just says Geico. That's it. And you wonder why someone would do that, because they're trying to keep that brand top of mind. And so you're probably not a top of mind business, but what you want to do to get in front of people is to make sure they see you as often as possible.
Yeah, and an interesting story is, I was speaking to my brother-in-law.
All right.
Former cop, Warren Stevens, out of Norfolk, Virginia. I love him. And he did not know I was an accountant.
Yeah.
He didn't know I went to school for accountancy.
And you have like 19 degrees.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. So you really have to tell people what you do.
Yeah.
And you can't assume that they know just because somebody that they are very close to knows. hey, you know, people have a life,
and,
man.
and I think that a lot of people get stuck on this, and one of the reasons why is because of social media, because you see it physically on your thing, you're like, oh, I don't have to do it again.
Yeah.
Right? But think about if you're on Facebook, right, and it's a business page, it's still very likely that someone didn't see your post that time. And also on Twitter, if you don't get them in that right exact time frame, let's do it, time frame, they're not going to know those things. And so you have to tell them. You have to tell them exactly what you're going to get, and hopefully that they are interested or are looking for what you can help them with. And if not, it's okay. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts, yeah.
Final thoughts for me is, hey, if you have a dream, make it happen, and always consider these two major functions: sales and marketing, and also accounting. These two functions in your business is paramount. And they can be the Achilles, or they can be the things that
The
just make you
Achilles,
shine.
like the guy from the Wheel of Fortune. Achilles.
Yeah, so just
Yeah, one person.
so it's important, just the importance of accountancy and marketing.
Marketing. That's what I got. AccountingSucks.net is Yehoshua's website. If you
Yes.
guys want to follow along for a fun ride with us, it's startwithhatch.com. Startwithhatch.com. A lot of awesome resources that you guys can get there. Yehoshua at AccountingSucks.net has got an awesome guide coming out that you guys can get for free right now if you download. So head on over to AccountingSucks.net or to startwithhatch.com, and we will provide you guys with some awesome resources. You ready to turn this thing off, yo?
Yeah, and also make sure you go to our Facebook accounts.
Facebook, Twitter, do it all.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. See you soon.
See you soon.
Later.